What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Skull Network. My name is Nick, and that one kind of sucked. Yeah, 1-3. That's where we sit now. 14-7. This was definitely not a game to remember. It was close. It could have been, but unfortunately, the Minnesota Vikings, as per usual, not really able to get things done when it mattered most, and well, it's really just felt like a bunch of things not going our way in a row. So let's talk about it. Of course, one of the big things going into this game was Dalvin Cook. His status, was he going to be healthy and effective? And well, the short answer is no. As we know, he got injured in the third quarter again and did eventually come back in, but for the majority of the game, the Minnesota Vikings run game was non-existent. Couple that with the fact that once again, pass protection was subpar at best, and Garrett Bradbury continued to be bullied more than anyone who ever was associated with Richie Incognito. It really didn't make for a good situation for Kirk Cousins, aside from the first drive. And I've seen a lot on social media already that, this game was Kirk's fault, yada, 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 kind of going back to all the old garbage gibberish about how Kirk is a terrible quarterback and average at best and stuff like that. And I just found it absolutely hilarious because people were just discounting and not acknowledging so many things, like what I said. When you have no run game and when you have no pass protection, especially against a defense that is as strong as Cleveland's, especially in the pass rush, I know Myles Garrett took a little bit to start making an impact, but there's just no situation where a quarterback is going to be able to thrive in that sort of environment. Look at Patrick Mahomes in the most recent Super Bowl. He had basically no help, and it was basically the same result. And Kirk did what he was able to. I mean, he stepped up from time to time. He rolled out as much as he could, but there just simply was no opportunities for him aside from that first drive. And when he was given a little bit more time, he was dropping dimes and continued to show that he is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league. But of course, as we saw, it wasn't enough, and it just really, really sucked. But what sucked even more almost was the Minnesota Vikings defense. Now, yeah, they only gave up 14 points and kept Baker Mayfield to really not much production at all, but the run game, I understand, for Cleveland is incredibly good. They have two top 15 running backs, I'd personally say. But my gosh, they averaged almost 5 yards apiece, both Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. It was super difficult to watch, and it was the reason that Cleveland was able to extend so many drives and really keep that time of possession in their favor. And it just, especially after Michael Pierce went out, that was really one of the kickers. Yes, there was pressure on Baker Mayfield from time to time, and frankly, Baker made plenty of terrible throws. There was at least 5 or 6 that I could count that he truly just straight up missed, and we still weren't able to capitalize, unfortunately. And of course, as we expected, Bashaud Breeland also injured again. Kind of. It was an illness, however you want to call it, but not having him in the game is something we already expected, but it certainly did not help. There's very few bright sides about this. I thought Blake Lynch had a pretty good game, especially towards the beginning of the game. Justin Jefferson continued to show why he is the best wide receiver out of last year's draft class, and really, that's kind of about it. I think a lot of people are going to be talking about that holding or pass interference call on Eric Kendricks towards the end of the second half, which allowed Cleveland another opportunity after not converting on fourth down to go and score. But in reality, they shouldn't have gotten that far down the field anyway. But yeah, no, it wasn't the greatest call in the world, but there's only so much you can do. And then, of course, letting him go and get that field goal again before the end of the second half. And then, that's really where things kind of started to spiral out of control. And when Dalvin Cook was out, Alexander Mattison was clearly not as effective as he was last game, and it just didn't seem like anything was going to go well. The Cleveland defense is just far too dominant. It makes sense as to why they're favored in the AFC North and one of the favorites to make the Super Bowl out of the AFC. They are a damn good organization with, frankly, what looked like today, a pretty average quarterback. But again, this is going to be one of those times where everyone blames Kirk and forgets about how poorly other parts of the team played. And the one last thing I want to point out, again, getting back to that pass protection, I know I already talked about it, but on the very final play where we had to take the shot to the end zone, there was a 3-man rush, and Jadeveon Clowney was in the backfield nearly immediately, causing Kirk to have to roll out and make a throw that he probably wasn't comfortable with as of yet. That just goes to show the issues that are present on this offensive line. And if things don't get changed quick, there's no way this is going to get better. You can just see an immense difference between the Cleveland offensive line and the Vikings offensive line. Just completely different stratospheres that these teams are on in that aspect. And it really is hard to watch. But I think some people are going to be asking me, considering my last video, Nick, are you worried? No, I'm not. This was a great team in Cleveland, and frankly, they should have been scoring a lot more. But the defense stepped up as much as they could, allowed 14 points to the best rushing offense in the entire league, and really made it a game. So there's no reason that this defense can't keep up with teams of this caliber. It's just a matter of if the offense will be able to execute. And, well, that's going to have to be a question from week to week. How is the offensive line going to perform? Will Dalvin Cook be healthy? It remains to be seen. Will Kirk be able to move a little bit and create plays? That's also something that remains to be seen. But it just seems like this was really just a series of unfortunate events of injuries and things really just not going our way. But again, I'm going to remain optimistic. I understand a 1-3 start is not what you want. I understand the Packers are playing well and kind of starting to run away with the division, but there's a lot of winnable games left on the schedule, and I believe that wholeheartedly. But that's all my thoughts I have on the game today. Not a whole lot of positives, and definitely some things that are going to need to be addressed in practice this week. But all we can do is get ready for next week and get ready for this turnaround, because it will be coming, folks. I can guarantee it. And that's going to wrap up today's video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit the button down below to subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like as well. If you want to share this video with anyone that you know, you can do that with anyone on any platform. And if it's a crack dealer on the corner, that's your guys' best option. You guys already know. My name's Nick. I'll see you guys all in Week 5 picks coming out on Wednesday. Adios.